What's going on, guys? Frog here. I am currently just sitting on my balcony, with the Oskin skyline behind me. I was just reading my book, one of my favorite books, Conversations with God. If you guys have not read this book, I would highly check it out. But nonetheless, in this video, I want to talk to you guys about solitude and protecting your peace, protecting your energy, right? And so if you guys have seen my videos, I make these videos mainly to kind of document my own journey and, to look back on one day and to show my kids, this is who dad was and, this is everything that he's gone through in his life. So I think that would be really fucking cool. And just hopefully, sharing the lessons and tribulations of, building a business, going through life as a young 25-year-old kid, trying to make it through life and trying to build something and have continuous creation in this world, right? And so today's lesson, not really lesson, but something that I've been thinking a lot about is, protecting my energy and solitude, right? And so I recently came back from a New York trip where I basically partied a lot, I drank a lot, probably more than I should have. And so after I came back to home, I basically had post-bender clarity, right? And one of the things that occurred from this post-bender clarity is that God kind of came to me and said, like, if you want to achieve something great, you have to quit alcohol. And so that's what I did. For the past 2 weeks, I have not drank a single sip of alcohol. Not that I had any problem, by the way, but just the anxiety and the turmoil and, the negative feelings I had with alcohol was just not something that I need in my life right now. Same thing with, mushroom chocolates or weed, right? All of that stuff is just kind of numbing me or just making me anxious or feeling depressed in some sort of way. And so I just, completely quit everything. And what this has allowed me to do is spend more time thinking about myself, right? There is nothing I would fucking rather do right now on a Sunday night than to be chilling on my beanbag, reading my book, having my binaural beats in, and looking at the fucking sky, right? Look at the fucking sky. Look at this shit. It's fucking so beautiful. How blessed are we that we get to live in a fucking planet like this where it's just awesome. Okay, anyways. And so one of the things that I've been feeling recently is just this, I wouldn't even call it antisocial, but just this craving, right? For solitude, for peace, right? One thing that I would fucking love is, being on a ranch, right? And just, eating good food, having good people, looking at fucking nature, working out and just being a super healthy and just, protecting kind of my inner peace, so to speak, if that makes sense. And part of that with solitude and trying to protect my peace is not doing anything that I don't personally want to do, right? And so I'll give you guys an example. I don't want to go to situations, or I don't want to go out, or I don't want to go to events where I'm gonna be around heavy drinking or be around situations where I'm forced to make small talk in order to be social, right? And if I don't see alignment with people that I'm most likely not gonna be aligned with in the future, I just don't want to even bother with that, right? Small talk to me right now seems so fucking not depressing, but just something that I just don't want to even put my energy to. I don't know if you guys kind of get what I'm saying, right? And so I kind of feel a little antisocial. I'm fuck, is there something wrong with me? Is me just wanting to be by myself and be around two of my closest friends and my girlfriend, that's it? Am I just fucking weird, right? And the more I think about it, the more I've realized that I'm just going through a season of life, right? Where I've kind of created, I've kind of did the, the whole drinking thing. And now, really trying to focus on building something great. And, Hormozy said this, which is, you can't do what you can't expect to be the 1% when you do what 99% of other people do, right? You got to be an anomaly. right? You got to do things that other people aren't willing to do. And I just have a very deep, innate desire to just be great, right? To be great at something, to make God proud of me, right? To put in hard work, to have continuous creation, to live a fulfilled and joyful life, right? That's just me though. That's just me. And so if you don't feel any of this, like, just click off this video, because I am talking to the person who kind of feels they're born to do something great, right? And they might feel like they're not fitting in some sort of way, where you are expected to have these social norms, right? You're expected to log off your laptop at 5 p.m. You're supposed to socialize yourself, right? And I'm saying, and I've realized through all of this, is that I don't think I'm antisocial. Like, I don't think I'm weird. I think I'm just hyper self-aware, right? I know what I want, and I know what I don't want. And I think I've just created this emotional boundary recently that's just really trying to protect my inner peace and energy, right? And I think a lot of people hit a point too when they realize that not every event or not every group of people they're aligned with, right? Especially if it involves forced small talk or drinking heavy environments or people you just don't feel aligned with, right? And that's okay, bro. Like, you will find your people, but I think the most important thing is just stick to you, right? Know who you are as a person, know what you want, know what you don't want, know what you like, what you don't like, know who you want to surround yourself with, know who you don't want to surround yourself with, know the type of conversations you want to have, and know the type of conversations that you just don't want to have, right? This is not being weird, right? You're just setting an emotional boundary that's protecting your energy, right? You're conserving your energy to put it into things that you genuinely care about. And so a couple of thoughts that I've kind of tried to be breaking down with this whole, I just want to be in peace and alone and just eat good food and surf and go on hikes and lift weights and work, right? Like this kind of energy. And so a couple of things that I've realized, right? And I'm just breaking this down for you based on how I feel, right? So don't fucking leave a hate comment for me. This is my life, and I'm just explaining to you how I'm feeling in case you're feeling the same way. I think I'm at a point in my life right now, or at least a season in my life, because I'm a big believer that all of us kind of go through seasons, right? Sometimes we're working a lot, sometimes we're not working a lot, sometimes we have a lot of things going on, sometimes we don't, right? And so depending on where the season is, that's kind of the expectations you should set depending on what you do. And so for me, I think right now in my life, I'm craving a lot of depth, right? I'm craving a lot of depth, and not a lot of surface level stuff, whether that's conversation, whether that's interactions, whether that's relationships, right? I think I'm craving a lot of depth in all of that instead of just being super surface level, right? And I've grown tired of having to put on a face or interact with conversations or people that I genuinely don't want to, right? Because I feel like a lot of us feel like we have to partake in things that we don't even have an interest in or don't want to do in the first place, right? And that's completely okay. And so I think I'm craving a lot of depth and not a lot of surface level socialization, especially like the other day, not even yesterday. I got lunch with my friend Mike, who owns a company called Waterboy. And the entire time we were just talking about business, right? I told him about my new business idea. He told me what's going on in his business. He told me kind of what to do, how to navigate certain situations, because he's been there, done that before. And I've left that interaction and conversation with so much fucking energy, with so much fucking just like, oh, I want to fucking run through a wall right now. You know what I mean? And so it's those type of interactions and those type of relationships that I want to have more of, because it just lifts my frequency and it lifts my energy up. You know what I mean? And so secondly, I think it's just being aware that right now for me, I am in a season of life where solitude or intentional time matters more to me than anything, right? And or sometimes we outgrow certain social dynamics, right? And I think it is completely okay if you're someone who is going through a season of their life or a period of time in their life where you just want to be by yourself, you want to be with really close people, and you want to keep like a guard, right, of your energy, of your circle, of what you put your time, your effort, and your attention to, right? And that's completely fine. And so I think I've realized that that's just kind of what I need in my life right now, and that is okay because it is my life. It is my life, and I'm going to live it the way I want to. Who gives a fuck, right? Who gives a fuck? Thirdly is that I think I might be a little bit burnt out or just super overstimulated and just like extremely go, right? And that's why, if I have, like right now, for example, I am juggling 3 projects. So I have 2 businesses and 1 project that I am currently working on, which is taking up, basically all my time. And so I am on all the time in my daily life, right? And if I live, I live in Austin, Texas, and if you know anything about Austin, right, there's always shit going on, right? Always. And so I think I've realized that because my work life is so on, and because the city is always on, I never really have a time and a place where I can just chill out and just mentally recalibrate. Do you get what I'm saying? And so I think with that, I really gotta maybe hire a couple key peoples in my businesses and projects to help me take the workload off so that I'm not always stressed out all the time, and so that I'm not always guilty for the fact that whenever I'm not working, I should be working, because if I'm not working, that means the business is not moving forward because I don't have anyone else helping me. Does that make any sense? And so those are kind of like the 3 main things that I'm kind of working through right now. And so one of the things that I'm doing, or not doing, but considering doing, is maybe I'll just take a solo vacation, not even a vacation, but a solo kind of trip to like Charleston or like Puerto Rico, right? Somewhere where I can just be with nature, just like kind of fucking as cliche as this shit sounds, but like one with myself, right? Really just like gather all my thoughts, reset, have a place and a hub where I can just like focus on work and do the things that I love with the people that I want around me. So that's kind of where I am, right? That's kind of where I am. And so if anyone's kind of going through what I just talked about, trust me, you are not fucking alone, because all of the most successful people I know kind of go through these periods when they feel alone, but not. And they try really hard to kind of compartmentalize it. And so that's why I'm kind of making these videos and just kind of documenting how I feel and breaking down how I feel in a way that hopefully helps a lot of you, if that makes sense. So that's pretty much for the video. If you guys know any places in the US where, A, there's a good community, B, there's good food, C, good weather, and D, a good place where I can just lock in, drop it down in the comments. But till then, if you watch it to the end as well, just drop a frog emoji. So I know you watched it till the end. But until then, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and follow for more of these videos, like just raw behind the scenes. But until then, love y'all. Peace.